Happy Monday. Welcome to my live story time. Remember, listen, comment, and share. And let me know your thoughts, right? Let me know what you think about the story. Written by myself, of course. And I do appreciate your time. So I will not hold you up any longer. Here goes.
Greg hadn't accepted the invitation to stir anything in him. His mother voice under almost careful, as if she was handling something fragile. Your father and I are hosting a small get together this weekend, said Margaret. Friends and associates, we know you're in Boston for the conference. It would mean a lot if you come.
Welcome.
We regret
Welcome,
that Amara
Gazing.
can't be with you for this one.
I'm fine,
Nevertheless,
thank you.
we hope she'll
Thank you for
be
coming
available
in.
for the next visit, she expressed. Greg stood by the hotel window. The city stretched out below him in silver and
Oh,
gold.
welcome,
His
Turkey in
thought
the
of
house.
Amara, her laugh,
Welcome, my
her
friend. Happy
steadiness,
to
the
have
way she
you.
trusted
This is
him
Kingston,
without needing
Jamaica.
reassurance. I'll come, he said finally. Just for the weekend, though, Mom. Mansion sat high in the upper hills of Boston, gated and luminous. A symbol of the world Greg had grown
Thank you for
up
the
in
tea.
and curiously
Remember to
stepped away
thumbs up the
from.
live as well.
When he arrived Friday evening, the house was already alive. Soft music, laughter, drifting through open doors, half moving with quiet precision. Greg's parents greeted him with genuine affection. His dad embraced him longer than usual. His mother studied his face, smiling. You look settled, she said. Married life suits you. It does, Greg replied easily. And he meant it. You will be staying in your old room. Gladys had it prepared for you, she said. Thanks, Mom, he responded. Margaret turned to look at him, then said, No, son, thank you for being here this weekend. She pat him on the shoulder and left the room. Greg closed the door behind and stood still for a moment, soaking it all in. The room was exactly as he remembered, too exact. The same king-size bed, with its dark mahogany headboard, the same green walls and cream, the frame color photograph, the same page, a sense of lemon polished and expensive linen that spoke of staff who maintained perfection even in absence. 5 years and nothing had changed. He exhaled, sadly setting his bag down and loosening the collar of his shirt. The silence felt heavier than he expected. This room had once been his sanctuary. Now it felt like a carefully preserved museum of life he no longer lived. Greg crossed the room and ran his fingers over the dresser, memories surfacing uninvited. Late nights arguing with his father, his mother knocking softly with concern in her eyes, the sense of being groomed for a future he hadn't chosen. He shook his head, grounding himself, then reached for his phone. Amara, he whispered. Her face lit up the screen and the second ring. Her smile instantly easing something tightened in his chest. You made it, she said softly. I did. His voice lowering. I am in my old room, as you can see. It's strange. It feels like time just stands still here. She smiled gently, though she could hear the distant hum of music and laughter behind him. The function's already in full swing, she said. I figured, show me your room quickly. Let me see what you were like 5 years ago, she asked jokingly. He switched the camera and gave her a quick insight of his past. She laughed and teased him about his wallpaper posters. I knew you would have found it funny. Next time I'll bring you here with me, he promised, and she agreed. So why are you locked away in your room instead of socializing? She asked. I just needed a moment, he admitted. Needed to hear you before I go downstairs and pretend I fit into all of this again. You always fit where you choose to, Amara said. Remember that. He smiled, genuine this time. I'll call you later tonight. Okay, my love? He said. I'll be waiting. Love you. Love you always and more, said Greg. He ended the call reluctantly, staring at his phone for a second longer than necessary before slipping it into his pocket. What Greg did not know was that the moment he hung up, another presence was already moving with intention. Amelia paused outside Greg's bedroom door, soothing her dress and fixing her expression into something soft and familiar. Meanwhile, downstairs the party buzzed, champagne clicked, laughter echoed, and music drifted through mansion polished halls. However, Amelia had no interest for the gathering. She had only came for Greg. When his mother had casually mentioned that Greg had arrived and gone upstairs, something dark and calculated had sparked behind Amelia's eyes. Rejection had bruised her pride. Today, it still burned. She knocked, slightly already turning the door handle. Greg, she called sweetly, peeking inside. I heard you were here. Greg stiffened the moment he saw her. His jaw tightened, irritation flashing across his face before he masked it with politeness. Amelia, he said flatly, I didn't know you'd be here. Her lips curved into a knowing smile. Your parents insisted. It's been so long. I thought we'll catch up. Cut the bull. There's nothing to catch up on, he replied coolly. I am married. Yes, I know, she said, stepping further inside, her eyes flickering briefly across the room. But surely, a conversation isn't a crime, Greg. He moved closer to the window, instinctively creating distance. This isn't appropriate, he barked. Amelia laughed softly, dismissively. Relax, Greg. I am not here to seduce you. But her fingers tightening around her phone, hiding in her clutch under the guise of nostalgia, brushing past him as she commented on the room, the memories, the past. Each step was calculated, each angle considered. The phone camera activated slightly, capturing moments that had been calculated and twisted. Her standing too close, his reflection in the mirror behind her. The intimacy of proximity without context. Greg didn't notice. When she finally left, she smiled over her shoulder and whispered, enjoy your weekend, Gregory. The door clicked shut behind her. Suddenly, Amelia's smile vanished. She glanced down at her phone, strolling through the images, satisfaction curling in her chest. With the right timing, the right rearranging, the right whisper, these would be devastating, she thought, feeling good about her unscrupulous self. The picture surfaced just after nightfall. Amelia wasted no time. She never did. She selected the angles carefully, the closeness exaggerated, the lightning suggestive, Greg's turned shoulder framed to intentional rather than evasive, a shadow of a smile caught mid-motion, a headline crafted to imply, not accuse. Here reunites with old flame at exclusive family affair. By the time the tabloid's site refreshed, the damage was already in motion. Across the ballroom, laughter swelled as the evening peaked. Glasses raised, speeches delivered, reputation reinforced. Greg stood beside his parents, polite and composed, unaware that his image was already being passed around screens with malicious precision. Not everyone watching approved. Marjorie Sinclair, a longtime family friend and one of the few guests who had attended Greg and Amara's wedding, had noticed Amelia earlier. She noticed the way she hovered, the way Greg angled his body away from her. But Marjorie had clocked it all, quietly and disapproving. Later that night, strolling absent-mindedly before leaving the party, Marjorie froze. There it was, the headline. The photo, the lie wrapped neatly in pixels. Her jaw tightened. "This is wicked," muttered Marjorie. Recognized manipulation when she saw it. Without hesitation, she copied the link and sent it directly to Amara. Jamaica was warm and still, the kind of night where the ear clung to the skin and the sea hummed softly in the distance. Amara sat on the balcony with her phone in hand, a glass of water untouched beside her. The message came through quietly. Tang! She opened it and felt a shift. Not devastation, not heartbreak, just a slow, heavy settling in her chest. Confusion laced with disappointment. She studied the images,
Thumbs up
carefully
is free,
reading between the
guys.
lines.
Remember
The
to
way
thumbs up the
she
live.
always
Thank
did.
you. Appreciate your
Greg didn't
time.
look guilty. He looked uncomfortable, distant. But Amelia, on the other hand, looked intentional. What unsettled Amara the most wasn't the pictures. It was Greg's admission. He had failed to mention Amelia, also her family. He hadn't mentioned that particular complication at all. As a result, question began forming, not accusations nor conclusions. Nonetheless, questions. Back at the James mansion, the party wound down triumphantly. The guests departed satisfied. The night declared a success. Greg retreated upstairs, loosening his tie, exhaustion finally caught up with him. "Hey," he said, as Amara answered, her face appearing on the screen. "I just wanted to see you before I turn in," he said. She smiled, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. "How was the party?" she asked evenly. "Long?" He chuckled. "A lot of people. My parents were pleased." "That's good," she replied softly. Greg talked about the speech, the music, the food, filling the space with harmless details. Amara listened, searching his face, waiting, hoping for honesty, for transparency, for him to say the name, Amelia, but he didn't. And with every passing second, the silence around that truth grew louder. Handed when needed, but something. Amara nodded where appropriate, responding when needed, but something for her had closed off slightly. Not trust. She still trusted him, but ease, the kind that comes from knowing everything, though waiting for the revelation. When they finally said goodnight, Amara stared at the darkened screen long after the call ended. He had the chance, and he chose not to take it, thought Amara, feeling disappointed. Chapter 52. Truths in the Morning Light. Greg discovered the leak just after sunrise. He was halfway through his Blue Mountain Jamaican coffee when his phone began vibrating endlessly. On the kitchen island, message after message, missed calls, stacking on top of one another. At first, he ignored it, still replaying the stiffness in Amara's voice from the night before. But when he caught sight of Marjorie Sinclair's name flashing across the screen, a knot tightened in his stomach. He opened the link and felt his blood run cold. There it was, his face, his parents' home, Amelia's position far too close for comfort. The headline crafted with just enough poison to imply betrayal without stating it outright. Greg's jaw clenched as anger surged, sharp and immediate. Unbelievable, he muttered. Soon after, his mom, Margaret, appeared in the doorway, already dressed, her face covered with concern, while Harold, his dad, followed close behind, phone in his hand. I have taken it. You have already seen it, Margaret said quietly. Greg pushed the mug aside, running both hands through his hair. She did this, Amelia. I know she did, exclaimed Greg. Margaret sighed, sitting across from him. We warned her to let the past rest. Surely she had too much to drink or something. This is nonsense. Rubbish, son. And we know it. But nonsense spread faster than truth itself, left alone. No, mother. She hadn't had too much to drink. This was calculated. And she didn't listen. Greg snapped, then softened. Then his voice broke, and he spoke softly. And now, my God, Amora, he stopped. That's when it hit him. Listened instead of laughing. She hadn't been hearing his stories the night before. She'd been measuring his silence. She already knew, whispered Greg. Do you mean? She asked, confused. Marjorie, Mom, she told me this morning. She said she sent an article to Amara last night. His chest tightened painfully, which means when I called her, he paused, then began to speak again. She knew. And I didn't say anything, said Greg, putting the pieces together. Harold leaned forward, firm but clear and calm. Then correct that immediately. Do not let her believe you are hiding something, son, expressed Harold. I wasn't, said Greg, anguish creeping into his voice. I didn't want to ruin the night. I didn't think Amelia mattered. So I didn't mention her being here at the event, explained Greg. Margaret reached for his hand. Omission can hurt as much as deception, son. You know that? He nodded, swallowing hard. I do now. I will reach out to the tabloids and do some damage control, son. Just make sure to explain everything to your wife and understand how she might be feeling about this, said Harold. Thanks, Dad. You too, Mom. I really do appreciate you, though. You know you're always welcome, son. His dad patted him on the shoulder, while Margaret went in for a big hug. He found Amelia later that morning, in the sunlit sitting room, scrolling through her phone as though nothing in the world were amiss. When she looked up and saw Greg standing there, her smile flattened. We need to talk, he said coldly. Amelia set her phone down slowly. About what? You know exactly what, he snapped, tossing his phone onto the table in front of her. The headline glaring up at her. You lowered those pictures. Her lips parted, then pressed together. I didn't force you to stand next to me, she exclaimed. Greg laughed sharply, without humor. You plotted this. You wanted my wife to see it. You wanted to hurt her and me. Admit it. She stood, anger flaring. You left me without nothing, Greg. You moved on like I never mattered. There were nothing to move on from. Are you delusional? We were never together. You made your choices, I made mine. Do not blame me for the consequences of your bitterness, girl. Do not, he continued, vice steady but fierce. Drop my wife into your misery. I owe you nothing. And after this weekend, you stay out of my life completely. You maniac. Amelia said nothing. Greg turned and walked away, not even looking back. Back in his room, Greg sat on the edge of the bed, phone in hand, heart pounding. He typed, deleted, typed again, deleted, and finally he decided to call Amora. Amora answered. Her calm but guarded eyes, unreadable. Amora, he said, emotion breaking through. I know you saw it. I know you knew last night. Silence stretched between them. I should have told you, he continued. Not because I did anything wrong, but because you deserve to know everything. I wasn't hiding her. I was trying to protect us, and I failed at that, exclaimed Greg. Amora breath itched slightly. I trust you, Greg, she said softly. But trust need honesty to breathe. I know, he whispered. And I am so sorry. They stared at one another through the screen, oceans between them, both aching in different ways, but still reaching. Greg ended the call, but the distance between him and Amara felt heavier than any ocean. For the first time since marrying her, he wasn't afraid of losing her love. He was afraid of losing her ease. And somewhere deep down, he knew this weekend may have already changed the shape of their marriage. And he felt a kick in his gut, knowing only too well, I have messed up. Oh my God. There you have it, guys. There you have it. Greg and Amara. Yeah, Greg and Amara being, what would you say now, stalked by the maniac, what do you call her? Amelia? Surely, sometimes that's how life is. Some people can be real bitter. You don't have to do them anything wrong. They just feel entitled and jealous of whatever success other people, have achieved. Especially when you have been in their circle, and even when they know the truth that they are the one that have made the wrong call, and they're the one who have messed up, and maybe kick you to the curb for whatever reason, move on with someone else. And of course, that didn't work out, and there comes the jealousy. So Greg is feeling the end of the stick. But guys, stay tuned. Let us see the next video, how this all unfold. Will the happy couple rekindle their ease in their marriage and that free love and freedom? Or will it destroy what they have going on? Will this be a true chance at love or devastation? And like I always say, Philippians 4 verse 30. I can do all things through Christ who strengtheneth me. So whatever you find to do today, do it to the best of your ability. Rubbing her sleepy eyes and stretching. Nora, I know you said you'll call, but I couldn't wait, to be honest. I just want to hear your voice, my daughter. It's okay, Dad. I am glad you called. I was just resting. And there was a pause. I have been doing a lot months. So, without itching, let's get right into it and see what the happy couple are up to. Chapter 50, the second week apart. Greg sat in a conference feeling a bit annoyed. He had been waiting all morning to hear from Amara. He had texted her earlier, asking how was her night, but still no answer, even though he saw that she had read the message. Lost in thought, his phone buzzed. He smiled, then whispered, "It's about time, Amora." Soon disappointed to see it was not his wife, Greg's smile disappeared immediately. "Amelia?" he muttered under his breath with a frown on his face, and as if what could have been a reason for her to be
Thumbs up are
calling.
free, guys.
And
Remember to thumbs up
immediately,
the live. Thank
he
you.
swiped away the call.
Thank you for being
The
here.
phone continued to buzz repeatedly. Nevertheless, he refused to answer her. Soon after, Amara texted, "Good afternoon, babe. My apology for taking so long to respond. I had some clients earlier that I wasn't attending to. My night was cold without you. To say I miss you is an understatement. How have your day been? Are you enjoying the conference?" she asked. "Now that I know you're fine, my day is looking rather better. The conference is fine. Can't wait to come home to you, my darling. Sorry to hear your morning was a buzzkill. Anyway, wish I was there to rub your tired feet," expressed Greg. Amora read the text and gave a sharp laugh, loving the idea of Greg rubbing her feet. "I sense something is off. Do you wish to share? Or do you rather to speak about it later after the conference?" she asked. "I could never hide anything from you, my love," he said. "So what is it? Spill it already," she demanded. "It's Amelia," said Greg. "Amelia? Your ex?" exclaimed Amara. "Technically, for her to be my ex, we would have to have been dating or been together," said Greg firmly. "Okay, anyway, you know what I mean," answered Amara. "Well, she had been blowing up my phone all morning," said Greg. "What the heck for?" asked Amara. "Frankly, I don't know, and I sure as hell don't care," shouted Greg, annoyed. "You mean you didn't even bother to ask?" she said, being angry. Greg got up and went to the men's room to further speak with Amara. This time, he bothered to call, sensing her annoyance. "Hello? Hello, Amara?" "Yes, I'm here," she responded. "No, I didn't answer the call. I just ignore it," said Greg. "You may not want to hear this. Nevertheless, I'm going to say it anyway. I think you should have answered the call, Greg." "Why should I? We haven't spoken in the last 5 years. It was just an arranged marriage that neither of us wanted. So why should I answer her call now?" expressed Greg. "Okay, point taken, well said. Still, maybe it's just me, but I think you could have answered, just to find out what she wanted. At least then we'll know what was on her mind, don't you think?" "To be honest, Amara, my darling, I really don't care what's on Amelia's mind. But if it means that much to you, provided she didn't get the message that I didn't want to call to talk to her, can we talk about you now?" asked Greg. Amara laughed out loud. All right. That's more like it. What's your plan for the rest of the day? Asked Greg, changing the subject. Well, I do have a bowl of chicken feet soup with my name written on it. After which, catch up with my dad. I promised to call him later after dinner. Sounding good, but something is missing, don't you think? What's missing? She asked. You're kidding me, right? Asked Greg. I'm just pulling your leg, laughed Amaro. Easy, Mr. Loverman. I will not miss our FaceTime for anything in the world. So you can calm yourself, said Amaro. So, what are you wearing? He whispered. Ah, talk about sudden change of events, said Amara, laughing. Arm settled over her as Greg continued speaking soft into her ears in the phone. Where are you exactly? Aren't you afraid of someone hearing you? She's, she asked, feeling blushed. No need to worry. I'm in the restroom. The conference is finished for today. I can hear the others leaving. I am not in any rush. Are you? He asked. No, I'm not. My work is finished for today as well, she responded. The hallway outside the restroom grew quiet. Greg leaned against the sink, the tension of the day finally loosening. Hearing Amara's voice softened everything, the irritation, the unwanted reminder of a past that no longer mattered. He told her how her voice had steadied him, how it reminded him of home, of what was real. In her study in Jamaica, surrounded by half-finished canvases and the lingering fatigue of a long day, Amara smiled, letting his words wash over her like a familiar comfort. Amara reminded him to rest, to eat, to not carry the weight of other people's expectations, past or present. There was no jealousy in her tone, only quiet confidence, the kind that comes from knowing where she stood in his life. When it was time to end the call, they lingered a second longer than necessary. I miss you, he said. I know, she replied, her voice warm and steady. But we're okay. They both agreed and ended the call with sweet goodbyes. Later that evening, after the bowl of chicken feet soup, a long, soothing bath, Amara rested her head against the back of the coach, finally allowing the day to settle. She had promised to call her father, but before she could, her phone rang. Dad? She asked, between rubbing her sleepy eyes and stretching. Amara, I know you said you'll call, but I couldn't wait, to be honest. I just want to hear your voice, my daughter. It's okay, Dad. I am glad you called. I was just resting. And there was a pause. I have been doing a lot of thinking lately about you, about about us. And I owe you an apology. One I should have made years ago. Dad, no, let me speak. I didn't listen to you the way a father should. I heard you, but I didn't truly listen. I doubted your choices, your dreams, especially your art. I thought I know better. That hurt back then, Dad, said Amara. I know, and I'm sorry. I see now how wrong I was. You stayed true to yourself when it would have been easier to give up. You held on to your calling, girl. And look at you now. Your work being seen and admired all over the world. You didn't just become a painter, Amara. You became an artist, expressed her dad. That means more to me than you know, Daddy. And Greg, I want you to know, this is clearly, I'm important And it's important to me, Amara, that you chose well. And I think that is why I was so hard on you, my love. He respects you. He stands with you, not over you. I can hear it in your voice how loved and secure you are. Amara was smiling through emotion, then said, he believes in me, Dad. Always has. That's what a good man does, my daughter. I wish I had trusted your judgment sooner. About him, about your life, about your heart. But from now on, I do completely, said Amara's dad. Thank you, Daddy. I have waited a long time to hear that. I appreciate it, said Amara. You have grown into a remarkable woman, Amara. Strong, kind, and fearless in your own way. I am proud to call you my daughter. I love you, Daddy. I love you too. Always have. I just wish I'd shown it better, said Amara's dad as they ended the call. Amara got to her feet, walked to the end of the terrace, bracing her hands on the railing. She leaned over, welcoming the cold air from the sea, caressing her face. She needed that to remind her that this moment of release she had just shared with her dad was real. The sound of her phone ringing broke her chain of thought. Hey, baby, I had the best talk with my dad. A few minutes ago, actually. Awesome. You sound excited. So it must be real good, responded Greg. Oh my God, babe. This is something I had prayed for, cried for, since I can remember. He had apologized for everything. Can you believe it? My dad apologizing to me. Oh, babe. I can't believe it. Yes, I can, my darling. You are an amazing person and woman. I know your parents would have seen it eventually. Oh, babe, you're too sweet. Seriously, Amara, put fun and joke to the side. Your dad do loves you, said Greg. I know, babe, but there was a time I did felt uncertain. He even expressed how proud he is of me. Choosing you, truly, I don't think this day can get any better, said Amara with the chill in her voice. Not even if I was standing at the front door, teased Greg. Laugh, Amara. Well, that's a different story in entirety, she said. I am indeed happy to know both our families are now on board with our relationship, said Greg. Greg stared at his phone as it vibrated, the screen lighting up the Boston apartment. Amelia? He whispered. The name alone tightened something in his chest, not longing nor regret, but irritation. All dust being kicked up where the ground had long been settled. Amara's voice drifted through the phone. He still held it to his ear, warm with the sound of Jamaica in the background, the hum of insects, the distant laughter of family. Greg? She asked softly. Are you still there? I am here, he replied, exhaling. Another call came in, explained Greg. There was a pause. From who? Asked Amara. He hesitated just long enough for her to know. Ah, Amelia. Amara didn't react the way people expected wives to react. No sharp intake of breath, no accusation, just calm. I don't have to answer it, said Greg quickly. Neither do I want to. I have told you before, I have no interest in reopening anything from the past, expressed Greg. I know, Amara said gently, and I trust you entirely. But remember what I told you before? She asked. Greg leaned back against the headboard, rubbing his forehead. that sometimes it's better to face things head on. Yes, said Amara. Answer it. Hear what she wants. Then let it end properly, instructed Amara. Greg frowned. I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. I know, love, Amara replied. But whatever she's calling for, it can't touch us if we don't let it. The phone buzzed again, more insistently this time. Red looked at the screen as if it had personally offended him. All right, he muttered. I'll answer, but you stay on the line. I am right here, Amara said. And always, Greg switched the calls. Hello. There was a brief silence. Then a voice he knew, all too well, smooth, deliberate. Gregory? Amelia said. So you finally picked up. What do you want, Amelia? Greg asked flatly. No pleasantries? No nostalgia? She laughed firmly. Straight to the point. Marriage hasn't softened you, I see. So is that your reason for calling me? Greg asked. Another pause. He could almost hear her calculating. I heard you're married, she said at last. Yes, Greg replied without hesitation. I am very and happily. Happily, she repeated, teasing the word. That was fast, wasn't it? All those years our families planned, and suddenly you're a husband to someone else. What the heck, Amelia? You must be pranking the heck out of me. Are you have gone totally insane, girl, said Greg. Our engagement was an arrangement. Business transaction, Greg said, his voice firm. You and I both knew we didn't want it. We agreed on that. What happened to your man, Trevor? Or let me guess, it didn't work out? Said Greg. That was before Amelia counted. That was before Amelia paused and then continued. Before you move on so completely, before you married her. Greg's jaw tightened. The conversation is going nowhere, said Greg. Oh, I think it is, Amelia said coolly. I just wanted to understand what kind of a woman would make you forget your past so easily, Gregory. Greg didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. My past doesn't define my marriage, he said. And my wife doesn't compete with anyone, least of all an arrangement that never had love nor interest in it. Clap back, Greg. There it was. Amelia's tone sharpened. Does she know everything about you, Greg? Amelia asked. Your debts, your family pressures, the nights you complained about expectations you never asked for. Amora's hand tightened around her phone on the other side of the ocean, but her voice stayed steady as she whispered, I am still here. Yes, Greg said clearly, answering both women at the same time. She knows, and she stood with me anyway. Amelia scoffed. For now. That's enough, Greg yelled. If you call to stir up old ghosts, you are wasting your time. I chose my wife. I chose her every day, shouted Greg. Silence hung between them, heavy and brittle. So that's it? Amelia finally said. You won't even consider? That's really it, Gregory? No, Greg cut in. There is nothing to consider. Don't call me again. He didn't wait for her to reply. He ended the call sharply. Greg sat there for a moment, phone in hand. His heart beat loud in his ears. Then he switched back. Amara? He called. I am here, she said. I am sorry you have to hear all that, said Greg. She smiled, even though he couldn't see it. I am not. She smiled, even though he couldn't see it. I am not. I heard a man who knows who he belongs to. Greg let out a breath. He didn't realize he'd been holding as a big smile washed over his face. She was trying to poke holes where there aren't any, said Greg. And she failed, Amara said simply, because there's nothing broken to exploit. Her inner goddess bowed and took a seat. Greg looked at the dark screen of his phone, then back at the window at the Boston night. I love you, he said. No one gets to come between us. Not now, not ever, expressed Greg to his wife. I know, Amara replied. And that's why her call came too late, said Amara. Miles away, Amelia stared at her phone. The line dead. How did he know about that no-good Trevor? I wish I had chosen Greg over him. It took me so long to dump his ass. What am I going to do? Greg's marriage doesn't seem like something I can destroy so easily. It looks like it's already built on truth and trust, said Amelia. Amelia's jealousy had nothing to do with love lost. It was wounded pride. For years, the arranged engagement to Greg had been nothing more than more formality, a quiet agreement between families. She had never wanted him, not truly. Her heart, reckless and hopefully, had belonged to Trevor. And when Trevor chose someone else and walked away without looking back, the humiliation cut deeper than she ever admitted. Greg's marriage, announced so confidently and lived so openly, became a mirror she didn't ask for, one that reflected what she had lost and what she no longer controlled. Sitting alone, Amelia replayed the truth she rarely faced. Greg had moved on clearly. Honor intact, heart settled. He hadn't begged. He hadn't lingered. He had chosen joy, and that, more than anything, was what stung the most. It wasn't Amara she resented. It was the ease with which Greg had stepped into a future that now felt forever close to her. The trust and truth she sensed in their marriage only sharpened the ache. They didn't steal anything from me, she thought darkly, but they remind me of what I don't have, she thought to herself angrily. Meanwhile, unaware of the full shape of Amelia's bitterness, Greg and Amara leaned into the quiet strength they had built together. Their bond wasn't from obligation or expectation. It was chosen daily, deliberately, yet the past had a way of creeping forward when least expected, especially when fueled by rejection and pride. Neither of them knew that Amelia's jealousy wasn't romantic, but reactive and predictable. And as Amelia finally set her phone down, one thought settled with unsettling clarity. If I can't claim what I lost, maybe I can make sure no one else gets to enjoy it so easily. Somewhere between hurt and resolve, a line was crossed, setting the stage for what would be revealed. The question now wasn't whether Amelia could destroy Greg and Amara's marriage, but how far she was willing to go to try. Guys, there you have it. Jealousy and a stick. Well, we have come to the end of another video. And thank you if you have reached thus far. If you're here for the first time, remember to subscribe, like, and share, and become a part of the Simple Michelle family and become a Simple Michelle darling. So, like I always say, Philippians 4 verse 30. I can do all things through Christ who strengtheneth me. So whatever you're trying to do it to the best of your ability. Hey guys, welcome to another video. And if you're here for the first time, welcome to my channel, Simply Michelle. So for all our returning subscribers, thank you for the support. God bless you. And I see that you have been texting and sharing, and I'm really appreciating that. So for those who are coming in for the first time, just take a seat and listen to the story that is originally written by moi. And it is called The Promise. And there are a few videos that are ahead, so you will have to go and check those out after so you can keep abreast with what is happening in the story. So far, last video, we end on a note where Mr. Ben had proposed to a promise to Tessa, asking her, you understand, for her to promise him that they will wait for each other, and while doing so, he is willing to comply to her standard of being a believer, and to trust that with the principles of her faith, it will be able to help them to keep at a reasonable distance while they're getting to know each other. So will Tessa accept this promise, or will she get nervous and edgy again and run for the hills? So this week we will find out what is her response to these questions. So let's get right into it. Would you do that for me? Asked Tessa. Yes, Tessa, and more. That is how much you mean to me, he said. Tessa hung her head, trying to hide tears that would not stop strolling down her face. It is okay, Tessa. From now on, we do what's best for each other, said Ben. He took the hand towel and cleaned her face, then kissed her on the forehead. A few minutes later, Ben settled the bill and gave the waiter a handsome tip. He listened and she spoke, and then she listened while Ben spoke.
Welcome, Sister Elise.
I would like if you accompany me somewhere.
Welcome. Thank you for coming in.
You are not in a hurry, asked Ben. No, it's not my home. I know how you feel about us being alone in a secluded place, and I respect your standard. So don't worry, he said. She nodded her head. Okay, let's go. Where is this place? Asked Tessa. Not far.
Yeah, welcome. Thank you guys. Thank you for coming in and listening.
From here.
I'll be replacing this one. This one is The Promise. It's not story time. Yeah, so according to what I have written there, I want to stay true to it. And bless up yourself, Joseph. Thank you for being here as well, my friend. I know I'm a little distracted because, I'm here doing some stuff. So I may not get to greet you guys as you come in. But I needed to know that I appreciate you all for being here.
Greg hadn't accepted the invitation to stir anything.
Appreciate the time and I appreciate the effort. So, yeah. And happy
Greg
Friday
hadn't
to
asked.
everyone. Yeah, I don't know what's happening this morning. I set my thing quite well, but for some reason, it going over into the promise, and we cannot have that. So, yeah, I'm sorting it out. Yes, and just like I had promised JB, I posted a video with a mukbang. I posted it. I hope you see it. And I make sure that I was eating so you don't think that I'm greedy. Even though I can't change your opinion because I already think that still. So it is what it is. It is what it is, JB. Right. So yeah. It's one of that chill Monday and giving thanks. So
Hey
we're going back to
guys,
the story, so enjoy.
hey guys. Channel, simply Michelle, and happy to have you, my darlings. Yes, and if you're
Yes,
here for the
Sister
first
Elise,
time,
they cuss me
I
off
have been
Saturday
reading the
morning, so
story
I'm
called
greedy with the
Chance
porridge.
at Love,
Welcome, Miss
written
Betty.
by
Welcome,
moi,
my friend. I don't
Aquarius.
forget you at
So
chat.
there are previous videos, but guess what? After this one, we'll have to rally back, catch up with the others, so you'll know where we're coming from and where we're headed. And happy to have you. So yes, Miss Amelia have been creating havoc in the marriage of Greg and Amara. So without itching, let's get right to the story to see what's happening. Chapter 53. When silence speaks. By the time Sunday arrived, Amara had stopped pretending she was fine. She went through the motions, answered calls, smiled when expected, moved from room to room. But inside, something fragile was aching, not broken, just bruised. The kind of ache that comes trail, but from realizing someone you trust didn't fully let you in when it mattered most. Her voice echoed in her head. I should have told you. And that was the truth of it all. She didn't doubt his faithfulness. She doubted the silence, the pause, the decision he made, however unintentional, to leave her to piece together a story she should have heard from him first. When her phone rang late that Sunday afternoon and Greg's face appeared on the screen, there was something different about him, less polished, more raw. Coming home, he said before she could speak. Tonight, I am not waiting until Monday. Her breath caught. You don't have to, she replied quietly. He said firmly, because I don't want us carrying this across another night. Amara looked away for a moment, steadying herself. Then she nodded, okay. And as she ended the call, she realized something else just as awful as her hurt was rising to meet it. Love that was willing to be uncomfortable, honest, and tested. If he was willing to meet her there, is he? The weekend had ended, but the real conversation was only just beginning. The space between us. When Greg walked through the front door Sunday night, the house was quiet. No tension in the air. No accusation waited, just stillness. Amora stood near the window, barefoot, the soft glow of the porch light outlining her figure. She didn't rush him. She didn't retreat either. She simply waited, giving him the space to meet her where she was. He set his bag down slowly. I came home because I couldn't sit with the thought of you feeling alone in this, said Greg, his voice low and sincere. Not another hour, bed. Amara turned to face him, her eyes steady but glassy. I was not angry, she admitted. I was hurt. There's a difference. He nodded, swallowing. I see that now. She took a step closer. What bothered me wasn't Amelia. It was realizing that while I was trusting you fully, you were the see for me what I could handle. That landed. We're close a distance between them. Not touching her, not yet. I never wanted to protect you from the truth, he said. I wanted to protect us, but I understand now. That only works if we face things together, he admitted. Amara reached for his hand, then lacing her fingers through his and whispered, that's all I ever wanted. They stood there for a long moment, foreheads touching, breathing in each other. No defenses, no rehearsed words. Bare, looking into the depth of one another's soul. This doesn't break us, Amara whispered, but it changes us. Greg pressed a kiss to her temple, lingering. Then let it change us for the better, Amara. His lips lingered at her temple, a slow, glowing kiss, as if memorizing the warmth of her skin. There without rush or urgency, he scooped her up in his arms, holding her close. Amara let out a soft breath, instinctively, wrapping her arms around his neck, her forehead resting against his shoulder, as if that was where she belonged. They have missed each other terribly, and this whole nonsense with Amelia had made it worse. He carried her like a personal, precious gem, not to claim her, but to reassure her, something he never wanted to mishandle again. Each kiss followed was unhurried, reverent, along her cheek, her hairline, the corner of her mouth, while her hand traced his back, anchoring him just firmly. She soon massaged his biceps, allow her fingers to stray along the journey of his strong frame, or while circled the corded muscles on his arm. His skin was so soft but yielding. His lips continued to move on her, branding a heat that trailed across her cheek to her neck. He tasted and caressed after what seemed as an endless time, then pulled her close, belly to belly, captured her twin sisters, nipping and pulling. Sensation spiraled to her loins and coiled into a neatly unbearable tension. It was too much, too intense, but Greg was kissing her again, deeply, ravenously, his body settling over her, slowly pressing her down. And then the way was made at last. Firmness certainly found its entrance, access granted, smoothly to her depths. The tension was relieved immediately. Pleasure coursing through her, reaching her toes. They went for a second, slow and intentional, until a new tension was formed, more powerful, racing swiftly towards a pinnacle that suddenly burst like a beautiful shower of rain on a hot summer day, leaving her in a wave of pursuits, of sensation. Amara was smiling when Greg looked down at her a while later. She seemed to have no control over it. He was grinning from ear to ear himself. It seemed to be contagious. Whatever joy was pouring out of her, he definitely caught it. Better this time around? He asked softly, already knowing the answer. Do you even need to ask? She replied with a cheeky look. And Greg's smile got wider. Yes, I do agree. And the better part is that we have only just started. Amara winked at him teasingly. This, she whispered, pulling back just enough to look at him, her eyes honest and open. This is why I needed you to come home. So you needed me to come home. And yet, when I told you I was coming today, tonight, a day earlier, you didn't want me to. It's not that I didn't want you to. It's just that with everything that was happening, I just didn't want you to feel like I was rushing you. I wanted you to know that I do trust you, but nevertheless, I was still upset over the fact of your omission. Greg swallowed, emotion thickened in his throat. I don't want us to be perfect, he admitted quietly. I just want us to be truthful, even when it's hard. Rachel pondered Amara. She nodded, pressing her palm to his chest, feeling his heartbeat. Then, don't shield me from the mess, she said softly. Stand in it with me and let us figure it out together. I know sometimes life can be messy, but even the mess is there to help us to grow even stronger, Gregory. He leaned in and kissed her again. Not desperately, not hurried, just full of promise, of choice, of two people meeting each other with nothing hidden. So as they held one another, candid in both love and vulnerability, it was clear this wasn't just reconciliation, it was reconnection. They stayed that way for a long while. Afterward, rocked around each other in the quiet that only comes from words, are no longer needed to fill space. Amar rested against Greg's chest, his arm firmed around her back, his tongue chasing slowly, accent patterns along her shoulder as if grounding himself into reality of her being there. I don't want us ever stop talking like this, she said softly, breathing the silence. Even when it's uncomfortable, I still want us to communicate, she said. We won't, Greg replied, without hesitation. I promise you that. I learned this weekend that silence can be louder than any mistake. So I promise to communicate everything with you, my love. She tilted her head to look at him, studying his face, not searching for guilt, but sincerity. Finding it, she nodded and settled back into him comfortably. After a moment, Greg shifted slightly. There was something else, he said, a small smile forming. I meant to give these to you earlier, before everything spiraled. He reached for the small carry-on he had brought back and returned with a neatly wrapped box, then another, and finally an envelope. Amara raised an eyebrow, curiosity softening her expression. I see you came prepared. Are these guilty? Are these guilty gifts? He chuckled quietly. Always. She opened the first box carefully. Inside lay a delicate piece of jewelry, elegant and timeless, unmistakably chosen with intention. Her breath caught as the light reflected off the stones. Greg, she whispered, holding her mouth. That one's from me, he said. I saw it 2 weeks and thought of how you carry yourself, strong, graceful, unassuming. She smiled, touched more by his words than the gift itself. Then she opened the second box. Her eyes widened instantly. Oh my! This had Margaret written over it, she said softly, recognition clear in her voice. Greg nodded. Mom wanted you to have it. She said it was inlaid specially for you. She also told me to remind you that your family always. Emotion swelled in Amara's eyes as she gently closed the box. Please thank her for me. That means more than you know. Greg handed her the envelope last, then said, and this. Inside were plane tickets for her visit. She looked up at her husband, surprised. You didn't tell me, she exclaimed. I wanted it to be a moment, he said, not an afterthought. Laura laughed softly, shaking her head as she leaned into him again. You know, even when we stumble, we'll find our way back to each other. That's because I don't walk forward without you anymore, Amara, he said, kissing the top of her head, agreeing with her. They sat there in the dim light, gifts sat aside, wrapped in each other's arms. Meanwhile, over in Boston Hills, the bedroom was a masterpiece of minimalist luxury, all soft grays and sharp edges, as a high-end jewelry box. She sat amidst the sea of velvet pillows, her head tucked into the expensive fabric of her dress. The same mouth that spent its days spitting clever insults was now twisted in a silent, shaking sob. It was a sobering portrait of high society ruin. A woman surrounded by the best money could buy, drowning in a sadness that no inheritance could fix. Chapter 54, Where Trust Stands. Monday morning unfolded softly, the kind of morning that felt earned. Sunlight streamed into the kitchen as Greg moved comfortably between the stove and the counter, sleeves rolled up, humming under his breath. He wasn't rushing or checking emails for once. The world could wait. He had chosen to stay in, chosen Amora, at least for one more day, before life demanded him back to work Tuesday. Amora watched him from the breakfast area, wrapped in one of his shirts, her hair loosely tied back. The glow from the night before still lingered between them. Passion rekindled, misunderstanding laid bare, forgiveness offered without reservation. The gift still sat nearby, tangible reminders of intention. The plane tickets stuck neatly into their envelope, like a promise of the future moments. They ate quietly at first, sharing smiles, stolen glances, the ease of two people newly married and newly tested. Then Amora set her cup down. Greg, she said quietly, we need to talk about Amelia. He didn't tense, but he grew still. I was wondering when you'll bring her up, he admitted. Amara folded her arms, her voice calm but firm. I need to know what you intend to do about her. About the interference, I trust you completely. However, trust also means clarity. Greg nodded, leaning back in his chair. You're right. He took a breath. I don't think Amelia is in love with me. Not really. What she's reacting to is watching my life fall into place, while hers hasn't. Laura listened, eyes steady. The average engagement, Greg continued. It meant nothing to either of us. There was no love there. There was a guy by the name of Trevor. They have been together for years. Apparently, he cheated on her and ran off with another woman. Therefore, seeing me happy with you has stirred something ugly in her. Jealousy, regret, emptiness. And all the wealth, of course, cannot fix that, expressed Greg. And yet, Amora said softly, she's becoming a thorn in our marriage. He reached across the table, taking her hand. I know, and I won't let that continue. Amara hesitated, then spoke plainly. If you ever feel unable to handle her, I'm more than willing to step in and put her neatly in her place if needed. Greg smiled faintly, shaking his head. Daphne? Feisty mood? He asked as he teased gently. Amar arched an eyebrow. Don't underestimate me. He squeezed her hand. I won't, and I'm not. But this one, let me deal with it, will you? She's a part of my childhood memory. Nevertheless, I won't let her disrespect my present, especially not my wife. Greg assured. Something softened in Amara's expression. That's all I needed to hear, frankly, said Amara. They stood there together after breakfast, arms around each other, the quiet comfort of certainty settling in. Greg kissed her forehead, then her lips, slow, familiar, and grounding. The kind of kiss that said, we are on the same side. For Greg, the realization was sobering and beautiful all at once. Amara trusting him, not because he was honest, and that trust, so freely given, made him more determined than ever to protect what they had. They were still newlyweds after all, still learning each other, still choosing one another daily. And yet, love had already proven itself resilient. Elsewhere across the sea, far from the warmth of the kitchen, Amelia sat in a sleek office, heels crossed, neatly, eyes cold resolve. This isn't about revenge, she told the private investigator seated across from her. It's about understanding who she really is. The man nodded, pen poised. You want her pass? Yes, I replied. Leave no stone unturned. At least that is what I am paying you for. Edna Manley College surfaced quickly. Names followed, old friendships, old betrayals. A former fiancé, Anthony Douglas. Female best friend, Janet, the one who crossed the line. A male best friend abroad, Jonathan, now lives in Paris. Amelia's lip curled slightly as she leaned back. Fine and funny, she said quietly. I want to know where he is, what he feels, and how easily he may be persuaded to remember what he lost. The investigator closed his notebook. I'll see what I can uncover, he replied. As he left, Amelia stared out the window, satisfaction flickering beneath the surface. Greg and Amara thought the storm had passed. But truth be told, Amelia was just beginning today. And some truths, once unfolded, have a way of shaking even the strongest foundation. And guys, you have reached us far in the video. Remember to like it up. Yes. And what? If you have not yet subscribe and share it with your friends and family. And like I always say, Philippians 4 verse 13. I can do all things through Christ which strengtheneth me. So whatever you find to do today, do it to the best of your ability.
And thank you guys, thank you for everyone that have come in, thumbs up and view for a while. Our silent watchers, appreciate you all. Yes, so this is where we will take our leave today. Thank you, Sister Elsie. Thank you, JB. Thank you. I think the person is what? Jinez. And also there's another young man. Oh Lord. Anyway, thanks to everyone that came in, that commented. Let the presence be felt. Mikey, everyone, appreciate you all, and have a wonderful rest of the day. Have a wonderful week. And like I always say in everything, to be thankful, to give thanks, and no 2 days are the same. So see you guys in the street. Also, Miss Betty. Yes, Miss Betty was here as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So bye for now, guys. Laters.